Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's not pretty. Guys, I have some sad news. My mom has passed away nearly 2 months ago. And I just wanted to share with you guys her life story for those who want to hear it. And it'll be a story about a random woman in Johannesburg, a little bit of our history as Joburgers. And if you guys ever go to Emmarentia Dam, the Johannesburg Botanical Gardens, I have donated a bench in her name. So I hope that in the doggy park, if you ever sit there under the Oleo Africanus tree, that you will sit there and think about my mom. And for those of you who stay until the end and know her story, please look under the bench. There'll be something there for you. Okay, so this is going to be the pretty version of her story. The tougher stuff, I may tell you later. I'll decide how I feel and through my processing. Okay, so thank you everybody for indulging me and listening to my mom's story. I apologize that I have not really been active on this channel. This is one of the reasons why I wasn't ready to share it on the internet. Okay, so let's see. Let's go down to the story that I wrote on her blog. This link will be found in the description. Okay. 6 days after her 70th birthday, my mom, Sister Norma Malandela, breathed her last at around 6 p.m. on the 3rd of March 2025. This ends a legacy of 51 years of nursing. Through apartheid, through the crime crisis, through the AIDS and TB crises, and every conceivable thing that has happened in South Africa for 5 decades. Her name means normal or ordinary, but she was nothing of the sort. A maverick, a firecracker, and absolutely bonkers. She had a flair for the dramatic and loved adrenaline. She always worked in the most hectic parts of the medical field. If you add her surname Landela, it could be translated as normalcy follows her. This is because the universe has a sense of humor. Norma Maria Alice Landela started nursing in Kimberly, the birthplace of nursing and the home of the world's first registered nurse, Sister Florence Nightingale, around the time her first son came about. And then I said, this part of the story is only for medical staff to know. Please do not mention it in front of family. At this point, I'm putting it on YouTube, and I don't care who knows it, frankly. I'm not here to protect people. One day, she was called to leave her shift to go to the maternity ward. The woman showed her a baby and said, "Doesn't he look just like his father?" She turned her head and said, "I don't know his father." The father in question was her first husband. She was only 22. She went right back to saving lives. Saving lives was always in her bones. At 17, she was arrested for talking back to the apartheid police for beating a boy. Unbeknownst to her, the boy was part of a gang called the Mexicans. She got the title Queen of the Mexicans. She refused to take a lift from her soon-to-be ex-husband, so from Khalishiwe, Kimberly, she would walk to town to go and nurse from 4:30 a.m. The water carriers were her protection. From the city of diamonds to the city of gold. She went to school at Wits for a while when she was pregnant with me, but was unable to finish due to family circumstances. I was 21 days old when my mom, still in stitches from giving birth, went back to being a midwife and nurse at the surgery at Florence Nightingale Hospital in Johannesburg. That's right across the road from our current constitutional court. She brought many people into the world as a midwife, including her best friend's son. I should also let you know that it is very likely that she or her team brought my first husband into the world as well. I was lying under the desk in the staff room. I grew up in the staff rooms of hospitals and was socialized to get out of the way when there was an emergency. I also know how all the staff light a cigarette after preaching to their patients about not smoking. One night, a couple in a car accident was being resuscitated, both unconscious. The 3-year-old who was with them was absolutely distressed, so at 6 years old, I played with her in Casualty. You didn't wake my mom by saying, "Mommy, wake up, there's coffee." You woke her up by shouting, "Norma, recess." If you ever phoned her, she answered with, "I'm scrubbing for surgery." If you asked her, "How are you?" she would say, "I'm saving lives." So if you've ever been to Kimberly Hospital, that is now, I think, Robert Mangaliso Sibukwe Hospital. If you've ever been to Afrox Glenwood Hospital, Florence Nightingale Hospital, Nedcare Mill Park, Nedcare Garden City, Santon Mediclinic, or Rosebank Clinic, she may be the reason you or your family are here today. You may not even have been conscious when she was working 14-hour shifts on her legs, running a team or training the nurses that saved your life. You may not know how she came home sometimes after accidental pricks from needles, afraid of waiting for the test results to come in, or how pale she was after seeing some cases of violent crime. Never once in her life did she have less than 7 people to take care of at home. She would commute and drive 2 hours each way between Annandale and the hospital to work 12-hour shifts. At one point, she got gutful and started her own nursing agency, Quest Professional Nursing Agency, which she ran from Braamfontein, Jarrison Street. So she shut that down to nurse her own nephew when I was in grade 7. That made our entire family poor, and she could no longer afford my school fees, so she had to downgrade my schooling. Education was what she spent money on. She was so broke at the time that there was only custard powder to eat. That is when she started at Mill Park. She would walk every day from Hillbrow, we lived near High Point, to walk to Mill Park. Today I ask you to be kind to a nurse, even if they seem grumpy, or even if you don't know why you may not be prioritized over someone else's family. My mom was once brought a busload of apartheid violence patients the night she was running the casualty. The medics phoned her and said, "We don't know what we're bringing, but we're bringing them in buses." She called the ward for extra beds, lined them up in the passage, and had to make immediate decisions as to who was living or dying that day. She always said, "I want to die standing." She collapsed from a seizure while nursing at trauma ICU in the continent's top hospital, Mill Park. She fetched her own wheelchair. In high school, my aptitude tested 98% for medical and 96% artist. I chose to be an artist as I felt even then that so much of our lives had gone into the medical profession. I always used to joke that we both worked in theatre but in very different ways. There are a couple misconceptions in society about those two professions though. Number 1, which profession has the most drama? Number 2, which profession has the biggest divas as patients? And number 3, which profession deserves the most applause? If she were alive today, what would she want you to know? Number 1, it's better to arrive late and alive than dead on time. Number 2, do not be a backseat doctor. Number 3, it's not "Hey you," it's "Sister Landela, thank you very much." Number 4, she told a story about a nursing strike. Nurses are never allowed to go on 100% strike. She said there was a nurse who prevented an ambulance from getting through. Unbeknownst to this nurse, her own son was in that ambulance. Always move for ambulances. Number 5, no single medical professional is more vital than any other. Nurses often help new doctors train and find their feet. Paramedics have a genius that nurses and doctors don't. Nurses and docs always have their patients and tools in one position. Paramedic can save you even if you are hanging from a tree. The most important people in the medical profession, the hospital cleaners. It doesn't help how well you perform a surgery. You could have the best team in the world, but it takes one germ to cause an infection. The human body is sacred. Treat it with the utmost respect. Ask your patient for consent every time you touch them. Number 9, you will never get her pickled fish recipe. My mom ran a pickled fish business side hustle at the hospital and she sold it to her fellow nurses. After 3 months in hospital, at a beautiful facility called Clayton House, she finally gave up the good fight. At the moment of her death, the most beautiful thing about her was her hands. So ends the legacy of half a century of saving lives and a pickled fish side hustle. If you've learned anything from my mother's story, I hope it is
that nurses are not machines, they are people. Rest in peace, Norma from Trauma. Okay, and then there's my mom. Okay, I don't think this video is too long, so I think what I want to do is I won't read the eulogy just yet, okay? But I'll read you the obituary, which I then also wrote. On the 25th of February 1955, a comet hit the Earth in the form of a thin, energetic, long-legged girl named Norma. Born in Kimberly, South Africa, the city of diamonds, and the birthplace of her beloved profession, nursing. She was the last born of 4 siblings, born to Marcus Garvey Landella and Elizabeth Kate née Lyon. She attended Perseverance Primary School and William Prescott High. You know what, guys? I'm actually not going to read this bit. I do want to tell you a story about my mom, where one day she was at a Pick n Pay in Lenasia, and she was walking out, and she was rushing to go somewhere. You know what? It's a bit difficult to tell you the story, so I think I'll just, excuse me, please, I think I'll just read it to you. I wrote it in her eulogy. Just give me a moment. I will leave you with a story she always requested for her funeral. She was once walking out of a Pick n Pay and rushing to buy things for her sister's grandchild. Running late once again, she had put all the groceries back. By mistake, she still had the marshmallows in her hand. It was a Pick n Pay in Lenasia. She tried her utmost to explain, but nobody would listen. She pleaded to be given a chance to pay the 10 rand for the marshmallows, but they showed no mercy to her grandmother who just survived brain surgery. They tied her up with cable ties, arrested her, humiliated her, and devastated her. Incidentally, the same man who did that to her also died tragically. She gave strict instructions. When they do my tombstone, it must read, "I didn't steal those marshmallows." Okay? Her favorite saying was the Greek saying, "Eleftheria ή thanatos," which means freedom or death. After months of suffering, I am relieved that death has given her freedom from pain. On her deathbed, the most beautiful parts of her was her healing hands. What would she want you to know if she were here today? Number 1, it's better to arrive late and alive than dead on time. Number 2, you'll never get my pickled fish recipe. And number 3, I didn't steal those marshmallows. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this story. I'd love it if you read my mom's story, and if you go to Emmarentia Dam and ever see her bench, that you know it was her, that you know it is. And thank you for joining me. I do think at a different stage, I haven't really decided yet, I do want to share the other parts of her life, the not so pretty parts, because my mom is no one's cash cow, and that is how many people saw her. Thank you for joining. This has been Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty. Even if it's pretty, I've missed you guys. Take care. See you when you see me.